everyone, and welcome to this episode of Writer's Infusion. I'm your host, Susan. I'm here with Jen, Ed, Julie, and Dave. And we are here to critique a short story in its entirety from Nicholas Gregory Schwab, who lives in Ohio. The title is An Inanimate Proposal, and Julie is going to read first.
As you sit outside your lover's house, a single rose rests beside you, and a poem is clutched in your right hand. You feel anxious for her to arrive home. With the other hand, in your pocket, grasping onto the engagement ring, you hope that it will secure the love and commitment for your future together. Sweat drips down your forehead in steady beads, as if you were a plump man standing next to a bakery oven on a summer afternoon. You look to her yard and see it's spacious, but seems more angular due to the many oak trees that line its edges, displaying their leaves a mural of fall colors. You are scared about changing your relationship, but you do not know what else to do with your new lease on life after the war. You feel that no one else will love you the way she does. However, she tells you that it is as if something inside you died on the battlefield and is incapable of resurrection. While you take out a cigarette, your thoughts stop and dwell on the full moon's intimidating presence. The night holds the smell of burning Christmas trees, while the streetlights illuminate a hellish reflection like the color of dried blood in the moonlight. The smoke does little to calm the nerves, as the motion of blowing leaves that makes the violent and erratic patterns like those of rats in a rodent trap fighting over their last meal. You continue to ask yourself how to approach the proposal. What will you tell her about your true feelings? How will you phrase the words? Bad memories continue to distort the bliss in your mind. Like a shadowed reflection, it's as if you see yourself in a broken mirror during a lightning storm. You think about the time just before you went away when you gave her a gold bracelet for her birthday that was originally meant for your mom. She felt that you had forgotten her special day, but you assured her that you hadn't, yet you didn't have enough money for another bracelet for her. You're never rich, but you did put her first, and you wanted her to know that. These disagreements might make her decline your plans for marriage. If she does not accept the proposal, it would mean heartbreak for all of eternity. The future with her might hold only emptiness after tonight, if there is a future at all. Remembering the day your bus drove you away for the war, she stood there crying and quite solemn. Your lover then blew a final kiss before going out of sight for a year, and that is the sole reason that you made it back home, that one kiss that meant so much. Despite these memories and the present sweet sentiments, what if your love rejects you? What if she laughs at your poem? She would not do that, would she? This love of yours would not be that insincere. How long have you known her? It is then that you wonder if this is already a dead proposal. The question is not so much if you love her, but does she still love you? That is the right question to be asking. Does she still love you after all the both of you have been through? At that final thought, up pulls the Cadillac, your love inside. Your unpleasant thoughts still seem to bounce around in your head like white blood cells running away from a recursive virus. You take a step towards the vehicle, then another. You are darkened by the night, so she does not see you. It's time to see if your hearts still beat in tune. She gets out of the car and her blonde hair starts to blow in the wind, giving her the appearance of a flying angel. Your hopeful wife sees you and gives a smile. You continue walking to her. You still do not know what to say. Your bleeding heart is stuck in your throat. At arm's length from her now, you look at your love while holding on to the rose and the poem. She looks back at your sudden awkwardness, waiting for your reply. You do not say anything as you take the engagement ring out of your pocket. You hold it in front of her. She says nothing. Absolute silence passes for a few moments. Tears flow down her face as if sourced from a large aqueduct. Taking your ring, she kisses your hand. She nods and gives you her answer. I will wait for you until that day comes, and then we will be married. Happiness washes over you like an Indian summer. You watch her go into the house and out of sight. It's now time for your part of the deal. Your heart continues to flutter as you make your way back to your post-war home. Your destination for the oncoming years is your plot in the cemetery. You will rebury yourself in the grounds and stay there until your fiancé is buried alongside you. Arriving in the grave, you pull the dirt over yourself and close your eyes. You have a smile on your lips as you wait for the years to pass until you find eternal happiness with your soulmate.
So how many people here knew that the guy was dead until the end?
I didn't
Well,
know until the
I didn't
end.
I didn't know either.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, it was a real
But I
surprise.
think that was,
I
I
was
think that's what
surprised.
he was going, I think
I
that's
know,
what
I
Schwab
was
going
wondering
for.
though if that was what if it happened, because I realized I didn't know until the end, and then I
Well,
found
there's
out.
only one hint, and that's the line. She tells you that it's as if something inside you died on the battlefield, that is incapable of resurrection.
Right,
That's a suggestion that something bad, but you don't buy into that he's dead. It's just that he suffered some trauma
Right.
and has come back
It's
changed.
Yes.
so that's good.
Yes.
Well, it is good if that's the story, but that's not the story. The story, it's unfair. I mean, he's dead.
Yes.
So that's, you can't, it's
Oh.
unfair to a reader to be led in one direction, knowingly, the writer knowing that that's not true. It's an unreliable narrator.
Misleading. It's misleading.
Oh, totally, yeah.
I don't, some stories are done like that.
Well, I think of it like, if I think of The Sixth Sense.
Perfect example.
Yes.
Okay. The Sixth Sense was definitely misleading and brilliant, right? And then at the end of The Sixth Sense, when you realize, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen The Sixth Sense, stop right now, or fast forward. When you realize that Bruce Willis has been dead the whole time,
I see dead people.
I went back to the beginning of the story, and I'm like, no, he took the kid to the funeral. Oh, no, wait, no, he took the bus to the funeral. But no, he went. He was sitting with the mother, like he was having a conference with the mother, and no, but wait, they never said a word to each other. And this doesn't do that. This just, I went back,
Right.
and I said, well, wait a minute, he's sweating, he's smoking a cigarette,
Right.
he's holding physical things.
Yes.
What you need to be is ambivalent in
Yes.
these things, or ambiguous, I should say. Because I've written plenty of stories with surprise endings, and what you have to do is be ambiguous. You have to write things that can be taken in more than one way. You can't say something is so, and then it turns out, no, it's not so.
Yeah, unreliable.
Yeah.
Plus, the other big thing for me was, it's written in second person. I can't
Why?
connect. Right.
Yeah.
I
Why?
couldn't connect.
Well, it's
I
a
agree. I
haunting
would change point of
presentation.
view.
It's a haunting presentation. I'm not opposed to that. It's kind of like he's whispering in your ear about how he felt at the time. But there was there's a point in the story that I said, wait a minute, I can't hold any truths coming from, and I marked out. From this point onward, I don't get the story. I just don't get it.
Well, I just get tired of it. You, and after
Also,
a while, I just.
I mean, why not he?
Right.
Why
Yes,
not he
yes, he
open the
right.
story,
Third
or why
or
not
first
Yes.
I?
person.
Yes.
Right. That's what I wrote too.
Either way, I mean, usually, we were talking about this before, usually if you're doing second person, it's because you want to put the reader in the role of the main character, okay? And that's not happening here. I mean, it says, as you sit outside your lover's house. Well, they're not talking to me, making me the main character. They're talking to you, this guy,
Good point.
sitting there. So, you know, it's, I don't get it.
You know, the you is a reference for the guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Seriously, I didn't find anything. I kind of like that haunting aspect to it. I hear strangeness from the opening line, and that's okay. Strangeness is great. It'll draw you in.
Right.
But it has to continue. It has to be consistent. It has to follow certain logical lines. And
I think it's a good idea.
I don't mind it at all.
Yeah.
sure.
Like, I mean,
Well, it was a surprise.
yeah, it was
I was
definitely a
surprised.
surprise. I thought, and at the end of the second page, I was like, oh, okay, she's about to arrive. I want to see what she says.
Right.
Yes.
But then when I realized he was dead, I was like, oh.
And she gave him an answer.
And she touched
Yes.
him.
I know, I thought that
But
was
she
good.
touched
That's
See,
him.
not
that's the
right.
thing.
She took
What-
an object from
What
him.
actually happened?
Right. That got.
Well, I'm wondering, her hair is flowing angelically. I asked, wait, is she dead also?
I was.
Uh-oh.
I
She
know. I
is.
was.
Right.
See,
Oh.
She's a theory.
I started thinking like this is, have you ever seen the movie The Others? Nicole Kidman?
So
Oh, yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When
That's
she,
another
when
one.
she meets her husband?
Oh, in the fog, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And And,
Let
you
me
know,
write that
Is
down.
it
that kind of
scary?
thing.
It's creepy.
Yes.
Is it creepy?
But it's similar. In
Yes,
the
it
end,
is a
hold
great
on,
movie.
I'm
Yes.
not gonna
Yes.
spoil it, not gonna
Netflix.
spoil it,
Netflix?
The
yeah,
others, Nicole
Netflix?
Kidman.
Nicole Kidman.
Right.
And,
Oh, yeah,
but
somebody
there's a
else
similar
was
I
scene.
won't spoil it.
There's a similar scene where she encounters her husband, and you know they have this strange interaction that makes no sense. And this is kind of the same thing. It's like, what? I mean, after the end, you go back and you say, well, what are the rules of this dead condition?
Right.
You're apparently allowed to sit on people's porches and have flowers and.
Keep stuff in your
Well,
mind.
I like what Jen said, the whole thing about the sixth sense, how if you go back, you can see that he never really was talking to
Right.
So
anybody.
it's very
So that's,
that was
right,
really
that's
done.
something that should be thought of.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, this reminds
And
me.
he reburies himself.
Yes.
So is he a ghost or a corpse?
Ah.
Because if he was a ghost, he would just need to go back
Yeah,
into his
go
body.
away.
But he doesn't. He puts the dirt back on himself.
Is he a
So they
vampire?
close a corpse.
Puts the dirt on, they close his eyes and
He's a vampire.
Oh.
It's
I don't
Dovetailing
know
with
the
what
I
you
don't
just said,
think
Jen,
Reverse zombie.
I was
and I love zombies. I'm all about zombie love.
I was
Good.
thinking of The Monkey's Paw by
Oh.
W.W.
Oh.
Jacobs.
The best campfire
Wait,
story
yes,
ever.
I read
Great
that to my
story.
8th graders
Ever.
around
I
Halloween.
don't know that story.
Oh my goodness gracious!
It's a great
I
story.
don't want to give it away,
Yeah, awesome.
but it's sort of related
Worth
to this.
reading?
It
Okay.
is so worth reading.
One of the
Monkey's
draws-
Paw,
go ahead.
what you wish for. Yes.
I was going to say, you know, there are several points in here where he says things, and it's like, what? Like, what does that
He
mean?
gives
The
examples.
Christmas tree,
Uh,
the smell of burning Christmas tree.
Oh, he's a
Burning
lot of
Christmas
figurative
trees.
language.
Is that significant? Or when, however, she tells you that it's as if something inside of you died on the battlefield, it is incapable of resurrection.
I
It's
think
like-
he's trying to
it's like,
subtly
did
hint.
someone
that-
actually
yeah.
say this? The full moon's intimidating presence. Why would a full moon be intimidating? While the streetlights illuminate a hellish reflection, how do you illuminate a
I had trouble
reflection?
with that too.
Or at the top of page 2, bad memories continue to distort the bliss in your mind. He's had no bliss whatsoever. He's
Yes.
His
been
dad's
True.
tortured, you know,
True.
from the first line. So I don't know. There are things that and the bottom of page 2. Okay, the girl shows up, and at the end of the paragraph, like white blood cells running away from an oppressive
Yeah.
grip.
Yes.
Mood killer.
Yeah,
you know,
that wasn't,
yeah.
It's not romantic.
I would
No,
use a
no,
different
no.
simile.
Yeah.
Yes,
Not
I,
too
there's a
romantic.
lot of too much figurative language for me here, and some verbs that were not strong enough. If I could keep you on page 2 at the very bottom, last paragraph, second sentence, you are darkened by the night. I would say you're obscured by the night or hidden by the night. You're again alluding to his not really being there, he's not really being visible. And the last sentence there, if your heart still beat in tune, I would say in harmony or in sync. I didn't like some of your word choices. But if I could bring you up to the middle of page 2, here's my English teacher comment in the remembering paragraph. Remembering the day your bus drove you away for the war, she stood there crying, and I read this misplaced modifier. The introductory modifying clause has to, God, I'm tongue-tied, has to modify the first noun. So you could say you remember the day, or if she were the one remembering, then remembering the day works, but
Well,
it doesn't.
I just took away remembering. The day
Yeah, I
the
did
bus
too.
drove
The
away,
day, oh,
and
that's
she
good.
stood there crying.
That's good, yep, yes.
No, I didn't like the way it ended because I felt like it was too quick.
Well, it's not fair. I mean,
To us as readers,
oh, that's his read. He
Yes.
pulls it out of the clause. Oh,
yes.
yeah, I found that,
It wasn't that about the idea that he's really dead. If you follow the rules of making it work, I felt like,
You gotta be more clever about it, I think.
right, that's
I'm
exactly
totally
what I
fine,
mean.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if we look at the first sentence, so, as you sit outside your lover's house, a single rose rests beside you. Okay, the rose is there. He's not touching it, right?
Mhm.
That would be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I went back and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, he never touched the rose,
Mhm.
But then he's written a poem,
And it's
Right.
clutched.
and it's
He's
clutched in his
holding it.
hand.
He has a pocket,
Yes.
And he's a pocket, and somehow we got an engagement ring.
Yes.
which it's hard to get credit when you're dead.
It really
It's,
is.
it is.
yeah, like,
it really is.
yeah, so, to your point, I think you make it very ambiguous, so the reader makes an assumption,
Right.
and then in the end,
Yes.
the readers go, oh, wait a minute,
Yes.
and then it's like,
Right.
oh, cool,
So I think that's the main point to make here.
Yeah, and I would say just from
That's
a
what we do.
writing perspective, and Sue, I know you're working on a blog about this, but just some words that you want to look for in your writing that you want to avoid. So
No, we did. We published that.
Oh, did you publish it?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So read Sue's blog on
She's
on
not
writing
like
words.
Brought to you by Ajax and Cleanser.
Well, I saw it before she posted. I didn't realize that it was posted. So, but words like feel, you feel anxious. Don't say that you feel anxious. Show that he's anxious, which
Oh, I
you
know.
actually do
Yes.
in the second paragraph. You feel that no one else will love you. Get rid of the you feel. No one else will love you the way she does. You watch. You watch her go into the house. You don't just she goes into the house.
Yes.
So there are certain words that you can look for and get rid of, and to strengthen your sentences to make them more immediate. So I just wanted to put that out, and also give props to the blog.
There were
They
threads in
probably
the
edit.
story that really worked for me, and it's a common theme. No, it's been used many times, and that is, a guy goes away waving goodbye to the love of his life, and the only thing that keeps him going is the hope of returning to the love of his life. The best story I ever read like that was Some Kind of Hero. A magnificent book. It's maybe 250 pages long, but I read it 35 years ago, and it still tears at my heart.
Who's the
It- if you give me a few minutes, it'll come.
We can
I
post
don't
it.
remember
post
at
it,
this
yeah.
moment.
We can post it.
You caught me with my author down. You want me to stop and think
No,
about
no,
it?
no.
I really don't. I was just elaborating.
No, I can write it down.
No, it's not
We'll
important.
look it up.
But you
They've already all
go to
Googled it,
Amazon. Go
watching
to
this,
Amazon and look up Some Kind of Hero.
Excellent.
It'll probably cost you 75 cents and $9 to have it shipped. That's usually the way it. But that's a great book about a guy who was taken away, held prisoner for many years. The only thing that keeps him alive is returning to the love of his life. I won't tell you the ending. It's unbelievable.
Oh, goodness.
It's one of those World War II stories
Uh-huh.
that is only too common. He was away for 5 years. The wife thinks he's dead. I will start my life again. She remarries. He comes home.
Oh,
Talk about discomfort.
no.
Well, it's a brilliant story. But this is the same kind of thing. I was expecting something like that.
Yes.
The disappointment, waiting for
I
the
was
moment
too.
when they would reunite.
Yeah.
That's what you're waiting for. All this other stuff is like superficial. But it's really the people who are going to be reunited. And the disappointment at some point, because he was happy, actually, at the being reunited.
Yeah.
Because she said yes, and then he goes and buries himself.
And then she just walks away though. Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
she
you know,
can see him,
bye-bye.
the man she
Yeah.
loves who's dead, and it's like, yes, I will wait, and then she goes into
You
the
think she'd
house.
linger?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there's no excitement on her part.
Yeah.
Why is he happy?
Yeah.
There's much to be said that's good about the story. The element of the story, the unrequited love, is terrific.
Yeah.
It is not the actuality of it. It didn't click. There's certainly room for improvement here, and take a month and rewrite it.
Yeah.
Rewrite the ending.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's hard to write a story in only 3 pages,
That's right.
so,
it is.
you definitely get props for
I
that.
can't do
That
it.
that was impressive.
All right, well, are we ready to summarize?
Yes.
So, unrequited love, and is a great thing to write about. Some of us are saying go to first or third person when you're writing this, and follow the rules. So I loved Jen's example of the sixth sense, and following with what Ed said about ambiguity, that you have to follow the rules even though this guy is dead. So that when you go back and read it again, you can see it could have gone either way, but you're still keeping the mystery till the end. Am I missing anything?
No, well, if it's 3 pages, I'd like to see it again revised.
Revised, yeah.
I'd like to see, I'd love to see it click, because
Yeah.
it's close. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some things that are wrong, but I'd love to see, you got it,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah,
Send
we're
it back.
rooting for you to get it right. We want you-
Yes.
So, Nicholas, thank you for submitting, and we hope that you got a lot out of our critique. And thank you everyone else for watching this episode of Writers Infusion. We will see you next time. Keep writing.
3
Okay,
pages.
I know
That
we have to
wasn't
fade
massive.
out.
It's tight. It's,
Oh, I can never
it's
do
short.
that.
3 pages. I would get rid of some of the
That's
flower
Yeah, as I
language
said,
and
I-
more detail.
I've written 5 novels, all of them started out as short stories.